Hello everyone, welcome to Lime Guru channel. In this video, we will learn about serverless architecture. Serverless architecture is a type of architecture where you will build your application and you will run your application without taking care of provisioning of servers or infrastructure. Let's take an example. Let's see you have an application. Now, if you have to deploy this application or run this application in a traditional way, what you will do is you will take this application inside a server, in some infrastructure. Let's say it's a physical hardware or it's a VM or it's a container. Then after that, you will run a server inside that. And once the server is up and running, now you will deploy your app inside that server. So you are managing your servers on your own, all the configurations, the scalability thing, whatever things are required to run your app on that server, you need to manage that. But in a serverless architecture, what you will do is you will just focus on building your app. So as you're focusing on building your app, so you can take this app into an environment where an external vendor will provide you server as well as infrastructure. So this external vendor could be within your organization or it could be within the public cloud platform like GCP, AWS. Typical examples on Google on GCP environment is Google Cloud Functions, or in AWS environment is AWS Lambda Functions. So what these type of environment does is that you don't need to procure any servers. You don't need to provision any kind of servers or any server related things and infrastructure for your application. You just need to focus on your application, and your application can run on those servers and infrastructure provided by a cloud infrastructure team. All of these things are abstracted from you. You don't need to take care of any kind of a web server, application server, or any infrastructure like whether it's a physical, it's a container, or it's a VM. You don't need to take care of. Everything is abstracted and you only take care of your application. So this is a serverless architecture pattern. In serverless architecture pattern, there are two types of services generally offered. So first is backend as a service, which is also known as BaaS, and second is the function as a service. So these two services you will get to know, and you should be familiar what these two terminologies are: backend as a service and function as a service. So backend as a service means when your app is kind of a service. So let's take an example. Let's say somebody has built authentication or authorization service. So that can, in your application, you don't need to take care of authentication or authorization service. You can just leverage these external services which are already available onto the cloud environment or onto your on-premise environment. You can use these backend service within your app. So your app will call these backend as a service, authentication or authorization service. It could be OAuth or it could be something else. But these services don't need to be embedded into your app. It's an external backend as a service which you can integrate within your app, and then you don't need to manage about this authentication service. You don't need to procure servers. You don't need to procure infrastructure for authentication service. It's already available to you and you just need to use it within your app. Another example could be a database. So database also comes as a service offering these days. So let's say you need a relational database or NoSQL database. All of these databases you can get as part of backend as a service, as part of serverless architecture, where you don't need to care about scalability of database. What you need to what you are asking is what you get, right? So let's say you need a relational database. You don't need to take care of like how many instances of servers you need, where it will be hosted. You will get a database, and then this database you can use it within your app out of the box. You will get database as a service. Another example could be storage can also be exposed as a service, as a backend as a service. So it also comes as a BaaS service, backend as a service, where you don't need to take care of procuring the storage. It could be cloud storage or it could be anything else. So you would seamlessly get the storage. Let's say you need 1 TB of storage or 5 TB of storage or 500 GB of storage. You will get the storage, but you don't need to take care of what is the underlying servers which will host your data, what is the underlying infrastructure for all of those things. You will get the service out of the box. So BaaS is an example of serverless architecture. Another type of pattern is the functions as a service. So function as a service is in these days is becoming very popular. What it means is, let's say you have built a function. Let's say you have built a Python function. It does some job. Let's say you have built a Python function which can take a request, it can execute the logic, and it can return the response. So let's say you have this Python function which has your business logics. You have a business logic in your Python function. So now what you do is you can host this function onto this as part of your serverless architecture. So you can host this function as part of serverless architecture onto the external vendors. They will make sure that your function is deployed onto the server and infrastructure, and you don't need to take care of provisioning servers and infrastructure. It could be an example of Java, or it could be an example of any other programming language. So what the idea is that you build your functions and then deploy your functions without taking care of provisioning of servers, scaling of the servers. You don't need to take care of it. That is the responsibility of the vendors who is providing you the serverless architecture. So this helps you. This helps in a lot of ways. That let's say today you have your function is running on, let's say, one node or one machine, but let's say tomorrow you need let's say tomorrow you need to scale this infrastructure. You don't need to take care of that. The vendor will take care of scaling your function, and it will ensure that your function is extensible, it's scalable. So that's all complexity related to server configuration, scalability is hidden from you, and it is taken care by the provider who is providing you the serverless architecture. So this is again another type of offering, which is function as a service. So we discussed about backend as a service, where we talked about different services which can be exposed as a serverless architecture, and we talked about functions as a service, where you write your logic and you take your logic to the deployment without taking care of any servers. Now we will discuss about certain benefits and certain drawbacks of this architecture. We'll talk about certain benefits and we will talk about certain drawbacks. Now, what are the benefits? So as I mentioned, so the benefit is that it helps you to speed up your deployment. So speed to market is one of the factor which this kind of concept offers. That what you are doing is you are getting ready-made services, let's say authentication service, database service, storage service, and in a function as a service also, you are just building, you're focusing on your business logic, and then you are ready to deploy. You don't need to take care of any other things. So this concept helps you to speed up your marketing process. You can deploy your applications readily and very fast, which is one of the good thing in serverless architecture. The second advantage is the scaling part. So you don't need to take care of the scaling requirements. You don't need to take care of server management, server configurations related to scaling. It is taken care by the serverless architecture vendor. So if you need, let's say 5 instances of your function or of your service, you will get 5. But tomorrow if you need 10, you will get 10. And you can configure auto scaling also based on the runtime demand. You can get your infrastructure as required. So this is again a great advantage or benefit of this architecture pattern. And the third thing is pay what you use. So what it means is pay what you use. So this is a new type of payment model where you will not pay for the servers or infrastructure all the time. Let's say if your app you have deployed, let's say this is your app that you have deployed onto your servers or infrastructure. So until the point your app execution is not happening, you will not be charged. You will be only charged when your app is running, when somebody is hitting your app, when some events are happening onto your app, or your logic is getting executed, or services that you're using are getting used. So the services are all available 24/7, but out of those availability, till the time you are actually executing those services, you will be paying only for that much time, and the resources that your application is using in terms of processing power, you will be paying only for that much processing power which you are using within your compute of your application. So this is a new type of payment option available because of the serverless architecture, which is, again, it's a cost effective. So that is one of the benefit, that it's cost effective to if you go with the serverless architecture. Now we'll talk about some of the drawbacks. So drawbacks is that you have a dependency on external vendor for all your server configurations or infrastructure configurations. You may not have as much control to configure the things which you want as per your applications. So let's say you have some custom requirement to configure onto your server, but you cannot do that because this server is now hosting multiple apps. It's not hosting only your app or only your function. It's hosting multiple functions, and that's why you may not have all the controls which you may have done if you have been running it in an isolated server. So that is one of the drawback, that you have dependency on the external vendors, and control is something that you may not have 100% control onto your servers. You have to go with what your server offers in terms of logging, debugging. How do you want to configure your servers? You have to go with the configurations provided by the vendor. So that is the only drawback which serverless architecture offers. And in the last, I just want to clear one concept which I should have covered in the starting only. So serverless architecture doesn't means that your application does not have server. Your application, if you see here, your application still has server, but the only thing is you are not managing that server. Somebody else is managing that server. So in a serverless architecture, you just focus on building your apps or services, and somebody else will provide you servers and infrastructure, and they will manage those things on behalf of you. So that is the concept of serverless architecture. And don't confuse it that serverless architecture don't have servers. These still have. So that was all the concepts of serverless architecture. Just a quick recap. We covered that how applications are deployed in a traditional way. Then we covered how applications are deployed in serverless architecture way. Then we talked about backend as a service, function as a service. And in the end, we talked about certain benefits and drawbacks of serverless architecture. I hope you got the concept. Please like this video if you have enjoyed this concept thoroughly. Please share it with others, and please subscribe LionBrew channel to support our work. Thank you.